Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Game number 125 on the 19th of June, 2019. My name's Hamish. I'm going to be hosting this whole thing today. If you've been here before, you kind of know how this works. What we have been doing of late, because I understand that the community, well, people have different motivations for coming here. You want the news, we're going to get through that really quick and, make sure that if that's all you want, you can get that and then do whatever floats your boat, basically. But if you want to hear a bit of a conversation about, more in-depth things, I have a guest here, Frederick Thailander, who is affectionately known as Weapons Guy, but does a bit more than that as well. So we will chat to him after all of that. But TU4 is out. There's a new gunner specialization and all of that. So here's the TLDR for the week. The title update 4 came out yesterday. There's a new specialization, like I said. We are aware of some issues, and there will be a maintenance tomorrow to fix those. The thing to note with that, usually we do maintenance between 9:30 and 12:30 CEST. That's going to be delayed until 2 p.m. So push that, 5 and a bit hours. 4 and a bit hours. 4.5 hours. It's not math time. There are some fixes going in there. So special field research, that's the way that you unlock the gunner. There are some things not updating. The foam party and This Is Madness thing, that should be fixed tomorrow. There are also some specialization ammo issues where you can't pick up the new ammo. Frederick's going to tell us a bit about that as well. Also noticed that apparently killing wildlife gives you specialization ammo. I'm a bit worried about that. The fix for the missing texture issue that you will have noticed in your UI on certain guns will be fixed tomorrow. The medkit issue, which isn't really a medkit issue, we'll talk about that soon. That was making people invulnerable behind cover. That should be fixed during the maintenance tomorrow as well. There were some initial server crashes when TU4 went live, but they were quickly solved. If you are still experiencing problems, do let us know. We've said this a few times. I feel like a bit of a broken record or broken CD, right, Ella? Is that?
We believe it this time.
The patch for the first week raid completion, everyone should have it. I'm going to say should because it feels like I've said this a few times. If not, contact support. There is no update on bullet registration yet, but we're going to talk about that with Frederick in just a second because it's a little bit more complicated than that. So we'll go into discussion on that. The patch notes are not exhaustive at all, and there are a few things missing. Like there's a FOV slider on console, and also Frederick's going to have some other tasty nuggets in there as well. Those aren't intentional, that the patch notes are very light, and it will be worked on in the future. All right. Frederick, how you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah, pretty good.
You good?
Yeah, it's a hectic time putting out a new TU, so yeah, feels good that it's out there, but...
But the work doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't, because now people feedback and play, and we do TU5. Spoiler, but there's going to be a TU5 eventually, cool. And future stuff.
Well, we might talk. Well, I'll push you as hard as I can on TU5 stuff.
I'm sure you will.
That's not today's focus.
No.
I'll do what I can. So, for those who don't know who you are, maybe they're new to the game, which is completely normal. Welcome. Frederick, who are you and what do you do on the game?
My name is Frederick Thailander. I am the lead 3C designer, so I do RPG things, weapon things, controls, those areas of the game.
For a very long time that I worked here, I was too embarrassed to ask what 3C stood for.
Good.
Please clarify.
Character, controls, and camera.
All right. Good to know.
Pretty simple. It's a Ubisoft thing.
I felt really dumb. I was like, it's been way too long. I can't ask. You know when you're like, there's someone that you've been talking to for years, and you're like, I still don't know.
You know that thing, yeah,
or
sure.
like someone's name that I don't know, but like we're already
and then it's
friends,
way
and
past the point where it's too embarrassing.
Like, hey you.
Yeah, so I'm glad you did it now on camera.
Yeah. Cool. So your focus for TU4 has obviously been the gunner.
Yes.
We have a trailer for that
cool.
We're going to look at right now. So we'll be back in just a minute. Enjoy this trailer. Yep. It's super cool.
Oh, you were never up.
I was
Everything's
never
smooth.
off doing everything. So what can you tell us about the gunner who don't know, people haven't played it or didn't see other people playing it on the PTS? It's pretty different from other specializations.
It's quite tanky because you need to be able to stand out in the open and use that big minigun.
Yeah.
Gets lots of bullets for a big minigun, as you can see.
What are the things from a game design perspective that make it tanky?
So it has a few talents. So when you use a med kit, you get some extra armor and stuff like that. The minigun itself has some armor steals. Every bullet you hit refills your armor. So if you're accurate enough with it, you can stay out there and spray and pray with it, etc.
Cool.
So, but it's also about bullets. So it provides more bullets for you and everybody else. Replenishes your inventory of bullets just by being around people and some other stuff like that.
So that should be able to update the pace of a team. Well,
Yeah.
at least enable them to use their specializations more and hopefully...
Well, just sustain in general over long fights, etc. Right?
Yeah, cool.
And then it has as you saw in the trailer, it has the riot foam grenade.
Yeah.
So the idea is basically to be able to stick people out there and then mow them down with a big gun, right?
So there's been some changes to the whole specialization landscape as well. We talked about this a little bit with Rasmus last week, but just as a recap because that's not really Rasmus's job. He's focused on other stuff.
He's just good at talking
He's
about
good,
stuff.
yeah, he's good at talking about stuff. It's more your job. So I'd like to hear from you, what was the intention behind the changes to all specializations?
We knew that when we were going to put out new spec, we'd want to spend the time to make sure that the other specs got some love as well, so that we could make the new one the way we wanted it. So we felt like we did some big changes. Number one, we made sure that you can spec into any weapon type. Because we felt like the build meta was a bit restrictive when there was only some weapon types per spec that you could get extra damage on. Number two, we made sure that some quality of life stuff got fixed. Like you can now get your sidearm all the way up to gear score 500 from your spec tree, because otherwise, what's the use, right?
Sure.
We made sure that the specialization weapon on them scales with world tier without having to invest in it. So that once you go and pick up that new gunner and you don't have any points, it's already at World Tier 5 power.
Yep.
And instead you can invest for some extra damage for like doing hard and heroic and challenge missions instead. And then just generally quality of life stuff to improve the old specs while we're updating specs in general.
Sure. My experience is largely with the TAC 50 since I exclusively play sharpshooter.
Have you tried it after Tier 4?
Not yet.
All right.
So I know that on the PTS there were some changes made.
Yes.
What?
It was, the PTS was like mid-change, right? So we did some changes even after that based on people playing as well.
Specialization weapons are more powerful now?
More powerful. If you're all spec'd into them with the new nodes, etc., which most people are by now, you should be more powerful with all of them.
Okay.
The TAC 50 is the more brute force powerful. It has almost double damage compared to before.
Double?
Roughly, yeah. Not quite, but roughly.
Okay.
The crossbow doesn't look like it's gotten a big buff, but behind the scenes, it's now 50% more powerful at cracking armor pieces, which is kind of a special trick it has. So it does extra damage against armor pieces on like breakable armor on heavy enemies.
Okay. That reminds me that we need to talk about the Merciless in just a second.
Oof.
I'm writing a note for
Gotcha.
that.
I'm hearing Buffland just being all euphoric.
I know,
and then
but we got to talk about the hard stuff too, Frederick.
Yeah.
This is what I'm here to do. So the special field research unlocks the specialization.
Right,
if you have the year 1 pass, you should have it instantly.
You get the spec instantly.
Yeah,
you still get to do the field research though.
Yeah, then you get the vanity.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, there's actually an image we have of that. Hopefully we can pull it up for a sec. Because I actually haven't seen the outfit. Oh, and that emote is pretty sick. So gear dyes, weapon skins, uniforms, all that cool stuff.
Mask.
Okay, so if you, I don't know, needed a reason to grind out the new specialization, there it is for you. That might be my next kind of mission on the stream, is start grinding that out. As much as I love my sharpshooter, and I do, I'm also, looking forward to trying something new.
You're gonna cheat on the sharpshooter? Ooh.
I don't know. It's kind of.
I know.
It feels like home.
Yeah, I get it. Especially now that the TAC 50 is super powerful, and you get more spec ammo with the new spec ammo system as well.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good thing to me.
It's gonna be good fun.
I'm gonna write this down as well because I need an Araldi backpack, and I'm frustrated that it can't be another piece. And we talked about this before, so we have some news on that. Before we get into that, on TU4, since there's not a lot in the patch notes, there are some other things that we mentioned, like the FOV slider on console. There are some other things that
some of them were in the PTS patch notes. Some of them we completed our patch notes with. It was a bit last minute getting everything together on the documentation side, for which we apologize. That's not what we're gonna do in the future, but that's the way it worked out this right now. The fun things. Actually, you said we should explain the medkit issue, the armor kit issue.
Yes, actually, let's go back to those things that I said. So the spec ammo issue, actually, before we get into that. So what's happening there?
So we found an issue which is getting fixed in tomorrow's maintenance, where the server thought you had more ammo, because when you pick something up that doesn't fit in your gun, it puts it in your inventory. The server thought that, client didn't think that, started disagreeing. Eventually, there's a pile there on the client that the server doesn't let you pick up. So there's some issues where you'll perceive it as not being able to pick up spec ammo. That's being fixed. It was a complicated client-server desync type of thing.
Okay, cool. Well, not cool, but
no, I mean, but yeah.
Good to know.
Tricky
also,
to find.
It's pretty straightforward issue, the missing texture thing in the UI.
Yeah,
fixed.
It was a missing texture. Sometimes when we work on these things, we have to resave files and do copies and do things, and sometimes we forget to link in the images that they use. Piotr, who works on the UI, he literally takes and renders all of the guns, all of the gear and everything to create these images, and then we have to manually point to those things, and sometimes we miss it.
So it's his fault?
Never his fault. Always my fault.
No, I like him. He gave me extra bits for my Space Wolves.
Oh, there you go, yes.
One of the guys in the UI team is a hardcore Space Wolves player.
One? So there's probably several.
There's a few.
Yeah.
But have you seen his army?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay. The
medkit
issue, which I mentioned before, isn't exclusively a medkit thing. There's something else going on behind the scenes there.
I mean, first of all, we found there was a story about hit registration issues. People were posting videos from the shooting range and not getting the hit count that they expected, which was exclusive to the shooting range. There was a hidden wall there that was there to count bullets, that was like removing some of them and some other stuff. We fixed that, but we also asked the community to start sending us any videos they had of hit registration issues. And this thing has been the thing that most people have pointed out, that like if someone's slamming into cover using a med kit and you're shooting at them, a bunch of the bullets wouldn't hit.
Yeah.
What's happening there is that the animation and the hitbox on the server didn't sync up. And so the server goes, not going to let you count those shots that you just landed because I don't agree where the hitbox is.
Yeah.
So that's been fixed and going into the maintenance update tomorrow.
Yeah.
There were some other edge cases we found that also had animations going outside of their server hitbox that we're working on as well.
Okay.
I'm not going to call those out at the moment, but very few in like edge casey. This one is the one that...
Yeah, so it was the med kit and skill deployment.
Yes, sometimes during certain skill deployment animations. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Regardless, that's... Thank you also, community, for your assistance on finding examples, because those are the things that really help.
The amazing part was that, sure, people get a little upset that there's PvP issues of people not being hit when they should be hit, but mostly everybody who helped us find things and send things in did so like heroically helpfully, like just like videos and explanations and everything. So it was actually really positive in a way.
Don't get us wrong. It's right to be frustrated when these things happen. Like, that's not
sucked,
cool.
but it's great that we could find it so fast.
All right. Moving on, because we covered those things. I wanted to ask about the Merciless, because...
You did you?
I did. I know a lot of people have been using it in the raid because it made a lot of sense to use it in the raid.
So
what's going on?
Just the for those that don't have the Merciless is a gun where you shoot and it creates little primers on the targets that you hit, and then you can detonate them. The problem was, and that's the whole idea of it.
Yeah.
Primers and detonation. The problem was, or if you were using it, the benefit was that that little explosion mistakenly applied directly to health.
Yeah.
I mean, that was never intended. That's not what the gun says it does.
Yeah.
But what it ended up doing is bypassing the thing we use to make things challenging.
It made elites into red mobs.
Elites turned into red mobs, raid bosses, etc. Anything that uses an armor bar or an armor was susceptible to it. We want it to be great, and now that that bug is gone, maybe we have to revisit it and buff it to the nines. But we had to remove that particular thing because it was bypassing a whole mechanic rather than just being scaled strong or something. If it was just strong, we left it, but it was bypassing a mechanic, making it hard to design new things that use armor.
Do you know what this conversation, like, I like having these conversations because it does highlight a really good point. Like, people have a lot of, I mean, that was broken, but it does bring up an interesting point that it's fun to feel powerful.
Yes, of course.
So,
yeah.
Is that kind of on your, I mean, I know that's
This is what's
dream,
known
right?
as a plant, by the way.
A very leading set of questions is coming, just to spoil it. But I know that, because we've talked about this off the stream, like, we want exotics to feel powerful.
Yeah.
Right?
We want most things to feel powerful if you build them right.
Sure,
Yeah.
but exotics especially.
Yeah.
Does this remind you of the G36 at all? I'm just feeling like a bit of a throwback.
PTSD there. Yeah, sure. Like you put something in that's good in an intentional way, and then you know that's going to break something in the future, make it hard to add anything to ever compete with it. But at the same time, the people who have it, they are having fun. But they won't have fun forever because you can never add anything that beats it. And so kind of, we call it like removing design space. If there's a gun that just kills elites, we can never make anything else that's good at killing elites or armored enemies. Yeah. And that's kind of the flaw of adding something that's too powerful in a singular way.
It's fun for a second, but I would imagine, I don't work on the game design team, but the intention of having build diversity, which is something that I know that you guys are working on for future updates, is really hamstrung by those real big outliers, right?
Yeah. We would like you to feel super powerful if you put together a build consisting of a bunch of stuff. But to just get one turnkey thing that just is OP, that means that we can't interest you in any other things.
Yeah.
That's kind of the flaw.
Cool. Well, this wasn't in the plan to chat about, so I need to.
But it's a good chat.
I enjoy it, but we have overlooked some of the other things that aren't in the patch notes that I think are cool to talk about for TU4.
Or that made it to the patch notes late.
Sure.
Because we did some updates.
Exactly. What are some of the things that are in there?
Yeah, so the one thing I wanted to talk about is the Firefly. So we knew that the Firefly skill was underutilized. Was kind of clunky to use when you're in the heat of combat, etc. So we did a lot of different changes on that. And we would like people to try it out and see what they think. So it's faster to target. It auto-picks better paths. It crashes into things much less. It creates a longer blind. Like it's just generally a lot smoother to use and more powerful. So I think it's hard to pinpoint one thing we did. We basically went through everything about it and tried to improve everything, its pathfinding and everything, to bring it up. And we're going to do that sometimes, like pick a skill, really focus on it for one patch and lift it up to a higher quality level. Okay. So
who do you think the Firefly will appeal to now? Because if it's not still something you can deploy mid-combat, is it something that's
you can now. Like it's really fast to deploy now, but the Firefly to me was always the strength of it is that it can CC many things. It can tag many things. Not a lot of skills can do that, especially not spread out. Like the Hive can to some degree, but otherwise, and as an initiation tool. Like you start with it and like blind 6 enemies for 8 seconds, which is the blind base time now, and go to town and maybe get some procs on Survivalist because they get procs on drops from things that have status effects, right? So you can kind of combine those things.
Cool. Well, it'll be good to see if people work that into effective builds. I'm excited.
They might, but if I steal a little bit more time, we are also, like we said last time I was here, we are intently looking at skills, like how powerful they get to be. So as a teaser for next time, we're gonna be buffing skills in an upcoming patch, mostly through how much you get out of having skill power and how competitive it is to really make a skill build as opposed to like a gun build or shield build or pistol build, which some of the metas that are out there.
That's what Bruce has been working on.
Bruce has been working
right?
on that, yes.
So Bruce, he's been on podcasts and things before. So I chatted to him earlier. I'm going to try and get him on next week to talk about those some of those things with the skills. So I'll keep you updated on that because there's a lot to talk about with skills. What else do you have on your list?
I don't know, what else should we mention from TU4? TU4 was worked on.
Chem launcher?
Yeah, so yes, chem launcher is good. We changed the chem launcher controls for the, is it called the restorer or the repair chem launcher, the healing chem launcher, so that it's now single press on console to heal yourself rather than bring it out. That's a often requested change, so that made it into this patch.
Yeah. Cool. And then things like, obviously, the Redstone people have changed some of the things to Occupy Dark Zone with the Rogue.
I mean, and that deserves mentioning as well. Like actually having a Wild West Dark Zone with the old style of Rogue, no gray Rogue, just like if I shoot someone, I go Rogue, with infinite manhunt ranks and a leaderboard. I think it sounds pretty fun.
I think it does sound really fun. I can't wait to see how that pans out. I mean, we are aware that there's been criticisms of the Dark Zones feeling empty. I would love to see how that pans out in the next few weeks to see if we have people trying to get up on that leaderboard and stuff. So that should be cool.
Sounds fun though.
It does sound really fun. The mod changes that we mentioned with Rasmus last week are really exciting. And I saw that you can favorite mods.
That's good.
That's cool.
UI team keeps trucking as well, improving the UI.
I mentioned before, well, actually someone in chat mentioned it, I think, the armor kit issue. Do you know anything about that?
Which
or do I need someone else?
Which one?
Do I need someone else? Ella. Oh yeah, we just called it the med kit issue.
Yeah, because we only have armor kits, but
we sometimes get that wrong.
We're old school, we call it med kit.
Whoops. Okay, no, we talked about that. So and this is me pushing you, because it's not to you four, but gear brands drop, like, so Araldi drops in 3 pieces, right? Gloves, I want to say holster, and backpack? Anyway, gloves, backpack, and something else. But I can't for the life of me find a backpack. Or maybe I want it to be on a different piece.
Some brands just simply don't make some things. Like there's backpack brands and there's chest piece brands and stuff like that. And we hoped that it was kind of be part of their identity that, oh, this is like a outdoors company, they just make backpacks and don't make protective vests, etc. But it can make it hard. It can make it hard to do the puzzle of the gear game. So we're gonna think long and hard about how we can address that. Whether it is better informing people of what is available through the UI or adding pieces or whatever. The important thing, we understand that can be frustrating. We're going to see what we can do about it at some point.
So you might be trying something out on the next PTS for TU5 maybe?
I have no idea what we can accomplish for that because I don't now know when that's going to be. But
but you want to do something.
We want to do something about it. I think in general we recognize that the gear game can be hard to get into and hard to understand. And we're going to try to make improvements. All
right, we'll have upcoming conversations about that in the future. I tried. I also realized, so with the ODZ stuff, I really want to get Redstone back up on the screen here. I'm sure Terry, Ryan, or, Keith, or whoever's working on that stuff over there could jump in and tell us more about that. Were you at E3?
Not this year.
Not this year.
No.
Ella was at E3. Here's my segue. She made another video of some of the community reactions to the little reveals that happen there. So enjoy this video. We'll be back in just a second. We've got agent highlights coming up and all of that good stuff. So we'll see you in a few minutes. All right.
Love the storyline progression with both the traitor, which I am predicting is the president, and then going back to DC, or not DC, sorry, New York. Going back to New York, I'm really excited about. I like got goosebumps when I saw the cleaner getting killed like a hero, and we both just like looked at each other. We're like, we're going back to New York. So I'm really excited for that. I love seeing the storyline progress.
Oh, I'm super excited to check out the next raid. I think trying to do quick runs in the current raid right now is pretty awesome to do. I run the raid about 3 to 4 times a night, like every night. Going back to New York, I think is like one of the big things that like I think most like we loved New York and we loved the Division 1, and being able to like go back and finish that story. And like, you know, I think that's gonna be awesome. So.
Oh, it's super exciting. As usual, this is a highlight every time that we come. And while this is our first E3 trying to cover a lot of games, as you can see, this is the place that we're always at. We can't leave the Ubisoft booth. That's why we're here. I hope that we're getting what I think we're getting going back to New York, a cap on the Division 1 storyline. Because we've got unfinished business with Keener. And I think there's a lot of agents that'll agree with me right now.
Manhunt. Yeah, that looks really good, definitely. And the new raid, of course. So much to go, yeah, so much new stuff. It's going to be amazing. There was one other, oh, the movie. Yes, with Netflix. That's going to be amazing. I really look forward to that, definitely.
All right, very nice. This is the first E3 I haven't been to in a while, so I'm like kind of rip. Maybe next year they'll let me go.
Let you go.
they'll let me go.
Someone locked
please,
you up.
Please let me go. No, but it's always really cool to see what's going on.
Yeah.
You saw all of the conferences and stuff.
I'm still recovering from last year.
What are you most excited about? Okay, I asked Rasmus the same question, and now we're kind of
From
off
this
the
year?
clock with relevant division stuff.
Oh, shit.
What we have agent highlights in a second, but E3 favorite for you?
Oh, damn, that's hard.
Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, like
Just more footage.
Elden Ring?
No, more footage of the Link to the Past sequel.
okay, all right,
Yeah.
good to know. Yeah, like I said, we have agent highlights right now. We'll go through those before we head off. Let's take a look at the first one for this week. What do we got? Here we go. 4 Mile Media. I'm loving all the cosplays. 4 Mile Media is also a musician from Seattle and streams on twitch.tv/4milestream. So MYLE, 4 Mile. Definitely go and check that out. The photo is by Terry V Photo on Instagram as well. I like the commitment to an action shot.
Yeah, the action shot is great.
I'm always a fan. Where was that photo taken? It looks very, I don't know. Maybe it's in Seattle. I've never actually been to Seattle, so I don't know. We have our second one. What do we got here? Oh, cool. What? A pixel art logo on a Bluetooth speaker? I don't know how you even do that. That's really cool. Kabuki Q is from England and streams Division 2 on twitch.tv/Kabuki Q. That's really cool. And also has a copy of Broken Dawn, so well done. Also, are those some Gunner glasses? Solid.
Yes.
I need them for my eyes. Actually,
Yeah.
fun fact, Christo, who was a community manager at Blizzard, who was also the little pug in Stormwind, he is now a community manager for Gunner. That is just random fun fact.
The most obscure reference.
The more you know. Wheeler Dag also has our third entry in Agent Highlights for this week, and I haven't seen this one yet, so I'm really excited to see. Drones.
Oh,
okay.
cool.
Solid. A little bit of a throwback, if people know the history for the Division. We have drones in Division 2 in a different form as a skill, but we have a long and storied history with the old drone. You've been here for years.
Yeah. Enough to remember the player controllable drone bit.
That did not really work.
It didn't work out.
But that's the smartest thing you can do when something doesn't work is...
It's game dev for you.
It was a cool idea, but if you ever were lucky enough to play test it, it's one of those things. Ambition, but didn't really work out. But that was really... I need a drone.
One that launches off your backpack. With a spring-loaded launcher.
We do actually have a bonus entry into Agent Highlights for this week. This is, I think, very important. Is there an image for this one? Yes. Oh, cool. Allegedly, the first 77-year-old, allegedly, because we can't confirm age, we don't track all of your ages, second from the left to finish the raid. Solid.
It's pretty good.
That's solid. If someone can claim to be older than 77 years old and completed the raid, I would love to verify that. But that's really cool. I'm excited to get older.
77?
I mean, I already have my life plan laid out for me. It's just going to be playing games.
It's a good life plan.
Yeah.
And you're doing so well on it as well.
Yeah, it's cool. Seniors are absolutely killing it with everything going on in the game right now, because earlier this week, the Swedish team, Silver Snipers, won the first Counter-Strike World Cup for seniors. Fun fact.
There's a Counter-Strike World Cup for seniors?
Apparently.
Nice. It's getting to be a real sport now with like youth and senior divisions.
Cool. I like it. Very, very cool. Thank you for joining me today. It's always
a pleasure.
Great to have you on, and we'll get you back on, I'm sure, as we get closer towards other things. Like I mentioned before, maybe next week I'm looking at getting Bruce on to talk about skills revamp and that sort of thing. To reiterate, there are changes coming in tomorrow's maintenance, which is actually going to be delayed from 9:30 until 2 o'clock. So don't be worried if that's pushed a few hours for you, because we have a few things in there that are being fixed. Special field research, Sage is not updating if you're grinding out the new Gunner, Foam Party, and This Is Madness, are the names of those. There are some specialization ammo issues where the server and client aren't talking to each other properly. That is fixed tomorrow. The missing texture thing is fixed tomorrow. And what is called the medkit or armor kit issue, which is actually a hitbox issue, should be fixed in the maintenance tomorrow as well. So please let us know how those feel once they are fixed. Again, thank you, and thank you everyone for coming by today. We'll be back again next week. And we're also doing more streams, like gameplay streams on the channel, because what I always think is fun is to hear from you. So I'll be streaming on Mondays as much as I can. Ella, you're going to be streaming on the channel as well? Tomorrow. There you go. So Ella's going to be here tomorrow streaming the game. Anthony did last Friday. Hopefully he's back on this Friday, because we will be here to give you the news on Wednesdays, but we've always wanted this to be a two-way conversation, and I think those gameplay streams are an opportunity for people to talk to us, and I like that. All right, cool. We'll see you again next week. Stay following the channel, because Ella's going to be streaming the game tomorrow. All right, bye everyone.